Important of how atomic structure is shaped is because if it doesn't crack, you wouldn't even know if it was there. If it could form a flat one dimension quickly as a shadow cast in like the same shape as a metal thing, it's the same size, would it be like on the floor if it was transporting? And if it could transport a whole bunch of things that same shape, it would be equal to your arms, that same shape coming out of the wall that many times. And if it had all the atoms, it could actually do that. Just by knowing the capsule didn't break, then that would be an attack or a fatality if it was Chinook doing it from underground. And that's why Centurion had to get Chinook on her same side. Because she didn't want 1,000 of her arms coming from underground, grabbing her down and throwing her into a secret base that you couldn't get rid of. So if you had a whole bunch of your arms, like 1,000 of them, grab you and bring you down to some place that you couldn't escape, like a fatality of 1,000 arms, like doing other things to you, then you would probably be wanting the guy who does that on your team, and that would be like why Raiden wasn't willing to do that, so they just took Shinnok.
Or just dirt in the road. That was the.
So this house doesn't go, and that's why our Mac is like 1,000 soul arms.
And that's lower. It would be like metal that if it has the information of an entire.
And so the difference between a carriage and an apple is just a small symmetry. And so this would be his house if it was his front door that he just walked into, because he just rolls up in this invisible vehicle that smashes everything, and he just stands up and gets out and walks into his door like I just carriage, and then opens the door and then outside like this castle. But it's just really a house that's straight up like 100 feet into the air. It's like a giant monolith. If you did this and for some reason it turned into a carriage, what would you do? If only it turned into a carriage because it had white stuff lodged in the center, and a carriage had a candle in the center, and it turned into an apple. And at the same time, it happened for that only reason. Everything that happened after that would be the reason that you were experiencing an apple turning into a carriage. That's why movies are so... But real up closely, it looks like one. I just show through that, but... And that... through with my hand, it was like a feeling like sometimes when you have like a head rush in your house or class, if you just like brush through something, that's a symmetry. As you're pushing through it, that's the action of film, and so that's how you're able to actually see a square that you just pushed through, and that would have been just like a square of the carriage. If I just started flying off at the speed of the carriage, you would know that he just probably opened the door to one and was going out, and he just popped up from an apple if it was on the ground and turned into one, and I just dipped after that as if I was in a carriage. That's what this one Asian woman did in this carriage. In the show Demon Slayer, the guy goes through different symmetries, and it's just all really closely animated from the camera angles. Why such small things should be particularly important is that of which it sets for the everything after it happening reason off of what you just saw. And the only difference from your leg on the ground and the shadow casting it is that your shadow doesn't trigger this sensor. but your real foot can. And so that's how the difference of Shinnok would have got caught if Centurion turned on him one time in a timeout. But she never did once.